Hi, welcome back to another video. So I'm going to be showing you how I make my firecracker chicken. So what you'll need for this is a packet of chicken, an onion, one red pepper, some dark soy sauce, olive oil, some sriracha sauce, sesame oil, and then I'm using a salt and pepper seasoning as well, it would be B&M, some Frylight, some honey, and then sesame seeds and a packet of chips as well if you want to have those too. So you're going to begin by slicing the onion. So you just want it sort of like in how you get it at the Chinese, like thin strips. I'm only using half an onion here because the onion is absolutely massive. But if you've got a smaller onion, then obviously just use one. But it's really just however much you want to use over your salt and pepper chips and your firecracker chicken. And then you just want to slice the pepper just the exact same way, just thin strips. Next you want to add your frozen chips into a preheated oven. The reason I'm using the frozen ones is because they're easier for doing like the frying part that's going to come up later on in the video, but you can make your own if you want. You're then going to take your chicken and put this into sort of like little bite-sized pieces, so anything like cubed size, and try and make them as close in size to each other as you can. I've already taken the fat as well, so all the visible fat, I like to remove that beforehand. So you could choose if you want to do that as well, so that's just an extra step I did before. Something to keep in mind as well is that obviously after touching the raw chicken, it's really important that you wash your hands just to stop any cross-contamination, so that's why I've also chopped the chicken up last, so after the peppers and onion. Next you're going to take some spray oil and spray your pan and then put it on a heat, so it's sort of like a medium-high heat to begin with, and then we're going to add our chicken in. Next we're going to make the sauce. I'm just going to put the ingredients for the sauce up on the screen. I'm basically timesing this by 4 because I wanted extra sauce today because I had so much chicken, but really we did have too much sauce, so you can pretty much do either double or triple, whatever the standard is. I'll put the standard on the screen so that you can adjust it depending on how much you've got. You then just want to give it a really good mix all together, and then once the chicken's pretty much nearly cooked, you would just add the sauce into the chicken and then allow it to thicken up over roughly 10 minutes, but I'll show you that later on in the video. So once you've added the sauce into the chicken, I just like to kind of move it around, and then where there's white spots on the chicken, I like to try and drizzle some sauce on top of it. I don't really know why I do that, but I just prefer to do it. You will find over time, as it starts to cook over the next roughly 10 minutes, the chicken won't be as pale, it will sort of start to infuse with some of the sauce that's there. So whilst we're waiting on the sauce coming up to the boil, we're just going to add some toasted sesame oil into a frying pan, and this is just going to be for the salt and pepper chips. So I'm just going to put that on a high heat to begin with. I'm then going to add in the peppers and onion into that and fry it off a little bit for a few moments, and then once the chips are ready, I'll add them in as well with the salt and pepper seasoning from B&M. So when adding in the salt and chilli seasoning from B&M, I don't have a specific amount for you to add, but usually I start off with like a couple of teaspoons or so, and then I give it a mix around. Over time I've learnt to judge it based on what it looks like, but if you're starting out I would recommend sort of tasting it and seeing what you like. So whilst I'm just waiting on that sort of cooking off a little bit, basically with the measurements for like the sauce and stuff, like the amount of stuff that I've put in, basically I've timed it before because I quite like having like a quite saucy, so there's a lot of sauce to it once it's been cooked. Plus I've got quite a lot of chicken, like there was 3 or 4 chicken breasts that were in that. So if you are sort of looking to not have it as, like not have as much sauce, or like a little bit lower calories and stuff, then I'll put the measurements up on the screen, or I've done it before, I put the measurements up on the screen. Also I wouldn't make the salt and pepper chips if you are looking to sort of watch your calories and stuff as well, because I mean you do get some frozen ones that are not bad for calories, but the best way to do it is to make your own chips. So basically just cut potatoes into wedges and do it that way. I mean they still would be a little bit higher calories, but the reason I'm using the oven chips, the ones that I'm using, is just because that's what they had in the shop and I wasn't too bothered about the calories on them. But the frozen ones I do find are a lot better when you cook them in the frying pan with the oil and the peppers and stuff. If you use your own homemade ones, if they're not very crispy, they tend to go mushy, so that's something to keep in mind. Maybe just better like not having the salt and pepper chips and just having veg instead if you're trying to watch your calories, but I'm not bothered about that tonight. So another good thing to do whilst you're waiting on something like cooking off and stuff is just clean up. So that's just what I've done the other now because I tend to make a mess. I do it every time, I've underestimated how long the sauce takes to kind of thicken up because I'm using so much sauce. So the chips are sitting just in the pot now with like the peppers and stuff, and I've just got it on number 1 just so that it's keeping the heat in it. They're not really cooking anymore, but hopefully it shouldn't be too much longer for the chicken and the sauce to thicken up. So once your sauce starts to look like this, where you can move the spoon through it, and it's sort of like not going back straight away, don't know the right term for that, but basically it's thick, that's roughly when it's ready pretty much. So as you can see as well, the chicken's really changed colour. And then this is just it once it's been plated up as well, so we had a little bit of just like long grain rice with it too. So that's it for this video, obviously, because everything's been made. If you've got any questions then please pop them down in the comment section below, and if you've got any requests as well, please put them there too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.